Right, students, you're going to do this Create a Baby Lab. Don't get excited, but it's just a simulation of how traits are passed on from the male and female to the offspring. So I'm going to go over the instructions of how to do this, so pay attention. So let me read to you. It says, oh, by the way, you're going to do this after doing vocabulary so you understand what the words are. So let me read this to you. Is the first part of the lab, you have to determine the sex of the child. So the purpose of this lab is to simulate how do a man and a woman contribute their genes, their sections of DNA to their child, and depending on the combinations, what physical characteristics will the baby get. And obviously one of the physical characteristics is whether you're a male or a female. So you're going to use a coin, or you can also use a coin flip simulator because you're going to mimic how traits are passed from parent to offspring. So heads of a coin is the dominant form of a trait. That's going to be the capital letter. Tails, the recessive form of a trait. That's the lowercase letter. Dominant, big letter. Lowercase is little letter. So you can do this by yourself, or you can find a partner. But you have to flip coins twice in order to figure out the trait. So you read this, and I'm going to demonstrate. I think if you demonstrate it, it's a lot faster than reading it to you. So here's a coin flip simulator, so if you don't have coins, but you will need coins to do this. So let's do one. So right here, you're going to put the name of people in the group. You can do it by yourself. You can do it with two people. I don't know. As long as you do it, that's fine. First, you're going to do the vocabulary, answer this question, and this is what you're going to do. So it says right here, use the chart on the next page for letter symbols for each trait. Keep track of the toss of each coin. If the person representing the female gets tails, the trait letter is lowercase. Heads, it would be the uppercase letter. The other person flips their coin, and let's say they get heads. So basically what it is you're going to flip a coin, and the coin will tell you which version of the gene they will get. So the easy one is the gender, the sex of the baby. I like using the term sex versus the gender. So a female is XX, and a male is XY. That represents the chromosomes. So in um, in sexual reproduction, a woman can only give half of their DNA, so half of their pair. So the woman can only give X, but the man can give X or Y. So let's say we flip a coin. Um, Heads will be the first one, and tails would be the Y. So let's flip the coin. That makes a cool sound. All right, that's heads. So heads would be the first one. So that means that the dad contributed his X chromosome, and the genotype represents what genes they have. And in this case, they have an X and an X. And what does XX give you? That gives you a physical characteristic of the sex of the baby as a girl. Okay. Now, this one is where you have to do with a partner, or you have to flip the coin twice. So, face shape, let's say we flip the coin. The mom's going to flip the coin. We get heads, so that's going to be my dominant trait. Dominant trait is the capital letter, and how do I know which letter to put? I scroll down, and I look at face shape. We're using the capital R. Our genes are represented by the letters. So it's head, so it's going to be a capital R. Okay, so now the dad's turn. All right, head, so that's the dominant trait. Dominant allele, the version of the gene. So R and R. What is my genotype? Genotype are the genes, and they're represented by the letters, so it's RR, like a pirate. So what phenotype, what physical characteristic is the baby going to have? So I look. Um, big R gives me a round shape. Let's do one more. Chin shape. Let's do chin. So chin is using the letter N. Is it noticeable, or less noticeable? Head, so that's going to give me a capital N. Oops. And now the dad's turn. All right. That's head, so that means it's the dominant allele. And N paired together, that is an N. And what phenotype, what physical characteristic do I get? Is N is noticeable chin. So far it's a round-faced daughter with a noticeable chin. So you just write noticeable. So what you're going to do to begin is you're going to do all the way down until here, skin tone. Don't do the polygenic trait. And hopefully this teaches you how traits are passed on and how traits are determined, and it will help you understand the vocabulary that you'll be doing. All right, hopefully that was a good explanation. If not, well, you can ask.